Good morning, 7 East. Happy Friday, everybody. The weekend is almost here. A lot of fun stuff going on. I wish I was telling the truth, but I don't think I am because everyone seems pretty bored lately. But let's try to get through this Friday. It is our last day of Unit 6. Time just flies by. It feels like only yesterday that we just started learning about George Washington, but now we're going to leave him behind. We kind of left him behind before, but we're going to continue to leave him behind because we're going ahead. So today is the wrap-up show for Unit 6. And our objectives for today, or agenda. I keep alternating between objectives and agenda. I don't know why. First, audience Q&A is making a comeback. I have some questions to answer that many of you might have had but didn't ask. But in this case, confusion will be cleared up. 2, talking about our election for today. If you've seen it on Google Classroom, which president was the greatest? That is the main question of our first 7. And lastly, a sneak preview of Unit 7. I'm not going to tell you exactly what it is. Many of you already know, but I'm just going to give you a hint at the end and probably spoil it. But I love Unit 7. I cannot wait for it. And we start that Monday, and that's for 4 weeks. Hopefully we finish it in person, but who knows. So we are on the air. Audience Q&A, our first segment. Is the MGA really canceled? Yes, I announced this on Monday. So please spread the word if people are not watching the broadcast or listening to the announcements. But I said, if you were someone who did early work on it and want to turn something in digital, I can count it as an extra credit in the fourth quarter in some fashion. I don't want you to feel like you wasted time doing a project that eventually got canceled because of all this stuff that's going on in the world. But it is canceled, yes. Question, I still don't understand tariffs. Can you explain them again? Sure, I can. Tariffs kept coming up, especially at the end of the Andrew Jackson presidency. Even mentioned early on with George Washington. Many of you still might not understand how they work. Well, I'm going to try to help you with that with a series of questions and answers on them right now. So question, why do tariffs exist? Mainly because the government wants to raise money to use for things like roads, the army, construction, education, and so on. It's basically a kind of tax. But it's a specific kind of tax where part of it is also to help a country's homegrown businesses. Why do some people dislike tariffs, like South Carolina and the southern states did under Jackson? Because tariffs make things cost more than they normally would. And sometimes the government wants certain things to cost more than they normally would. You might be wondering, well, why would the government want things to cost more? Which is our next question. If the government wants people to buy from American companies, they put a tariff on foreign companies' products to make the American products cheaper than others, to increase the sales and strength of the business. So it's done to help American businesses make people buy American products, even if those products would normally be higher priced than ones coming from another country. Can I give an example? Yes, I can. Here is a good example. So Ford is an American company that produces cars. Many of you your parents may have Fords. Toyota is a Japanese company that produces cars also. So let's say for a moment, you're trying to buy a car, and you go to the lot, and you have a Ford and a Toyota, 2 models that are about equal. Let's just say they're the same type of car, pretty much have the same specifications. For the sake of this argument, let's say this Ford car and Toyota car are equal. Now let's say the Toyota car is sold for $10,000, while the Ford sells for $12,000. Most shoppers are going to pick the cheaper model. So assuming they're equal, most people are going to go with a Toyota because it's cheaper. Why not save $2,000 if you can? But in this case, let's say the government still wants people to buy from the American business. What do? They put a tariff. So if the U.S. government wants to help the American business like Ford, they put a tariff on foreign-made products like Toyota cars. So let's say America puts a 50% tariff on foreign-made cars. That means America charges these companies 50% of the sale price of the car just to bring it into America to sell. What does that look like in practice? It looks like this. Well, 50% of 10,000, it's half of 10,000 is 5,000, which means the tariff that Japanese companies like Toyota, they're going to have to pay 5,000 just to bring that car in. And that price is going to be added on to the total price of the Toyota. So it's not $10,000 anymore. It's $15,000 to buy that car. And now if you're shopping and you see the choice between a $15,000 Toyota and a $12,000 Ford, Most people are now going to pick the $12,000 Ford. So they're paying more than the $10,000 they would have paid with no tariff, but they're also spending money on an American company, and that is why tariffs mainly exist. They want people to buy products inside the country. That is the short explanation of tariffs. Now our second segment, which president was the greatest? So today is election day. Kind of, sort of, not really. But yes, it is, in a fake way. The main question I offer you today is, which president did the greatest job in office? Of our first 7. You'll see that I posted a Google form ballot on Google Classroom. This is more for my curiosity to see how you all compare to last year's class. Last year's class had a clear winner in terms of which president they thought did the greatest job in office, and I was kind of surprised. But I'm asking you, after learning about these first 7 presidents, which one do you think did the greatest job in office? That doesn't mean who did you like the best. It doesn't mean anything else about their life. Anything they did before the war, Revolutionary War, anything they did after. That doesn't really matter. I'm talking about the years, the 4 or 8 years they were in office. Who do you think did the greatest job? You vote, and you're going to decide as a class. So the ballot on Google Classroom is very simple. It looks just like this. I copy and pasted the image. Historical presidential election ballot. It's really mainly for my curiosity to see how you compare to last year's. But I have all 7 names of our first 7 presidents. Click on the one that you think did the greatest job when they were in office, and then submit. And then I'll have the totals, and I'll release the election results over the weekend, on Monday, after the weekend. So that should be interesting, and I'll tell you what last year's class, their results were. And this mock election marks the end of Unit 6. Applause, yes. I can't believe it's gone so fast. But I'm happy to be in Unit 7. Now, preview of Unit 7. Unit 7, probably my favorite of the year. Many of you have been asking about it all year because of a certain game we play. Although, probably less of you know the actual name of the unit. I am going to show you a clue right now that hopefully will get your mind in gear for what to expect next unit starting Monday. And here's our one big clue. We're not going to film school. We're not necessarily going back to the future. We're going back to the past. It's westward expansion, people. Cowboys and all that. So get excited. Oregon Trail is coming soon. A lot of cool videos. I love this unit. It's going to be a fun 4 weeks. It would be funner in person, but I'll still try to make it as fun as possible remotely. That is it for the show today. I am hoping that all of you have an amazing weekend. Stay safe, and I will see you on Monday.